before. And I will have my community manager, Jess, take over, and I will be in the back to answer your questions and all that good stuff.
Thank you, Rongrong. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here tonight. I hope you're really excited to learn a little bit more about financial planning. And so, a little bit of an introduction as you're all letting us know where you're tuning in from and your names. I am the Zoom moderator. I'm Jessica, also known as Sailor at Plans on social media. And I'm tuning in from my home, my sailboat. Oh, you could see the light. I forgot about that. Oh well. um, and I'm currently in Tahiti, French Polynesia. So we're also joined by our special guest speaker, Ilysse from Plan with Ilysse. Hello and welcome, Ilysse.
Hi, thank you.
We're so happy to have you. So, Ilysse, if you can just let us know where you're tuning in from and maybe let us know how your passion for financial planning all started.
Yes, thank you so much, Jess and Rongrong, for having me. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. I see some familiar faces and names, so I'm so excited to be here tonight. I am Ilysse of Plan with Ilysse, and I live in northern New Jersey. And I'm at home right now in my office. And I'm so excited to be teaching a financial workshop because this is a topic that is so personal to me. And it's not because I grew up with any idea of anything about money, but because I made a lot of financial mistakes. And over time, I learned how to pay for my mistakes, literally and figuratively. But I found a passion for showing others how I was improving not only my finances, but my relationship with money. Because I think that very often we just think of money as a calculation, but there's so much emotion that goes into every dollar we spend and every dollar we save. And it can be emotion from the way that we grew up or circumstances we found ourselves in. There's a lot of different factors, but because I've been able to get myself out of debt and buy a home as a single person in a high cost of living area and really grow my life financially in a way that I never thought possible, I've found such a passion for showing others how to do the same thing because if I can do it, I know that anyone can do it. I'm horrible at math, but budgeting isn't always just about the numbers. It's about the actions we take. And again, it's our relationship with money that the changes really can happen and make a profound impact on your life because I know that they've made a profound impact on mine.
Wow, that was so beautiful and like so
Thank you.
relatable. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us. That was
Sure.
like so beautiful and very well articulated. Thank you for that. So Ilysse, I'm just gonna let you go ahead and well, you're kind of already set up, aren't you?
Yeah, we're set up. We're good to go. I think, oh, it looks like I may have not been, no, I think I should be set up.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like cover a few things before we officially get started. So some of you may know, but this is a live recording and we'll save this for later. But also this is going to be, there's going to be a Q&A session, a live one at the very end. So sure you ask some questions or you don't even have to ask any questions. You could just like come on and say something that you've learned at the end. And but before you do that, there is I ask that everybody use the raise your hand function. There is a react button. It's a little heart and you tap that and then you're going to tap where it says raise your hand and it'll look like that. You could see on my screen it has raise your hand and then I'm going to lower it and then you'll be able to unmute yourselves and speak. So that's the only thing I have to cover. I hope you're excited, just as excited as I am. And let's have some fun, shall we? Let's do this. take it away, Ilysse.
Okay. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. If you have any questions, note them in the chat because I do have another screen here that I can take a look at the chat and answer your questions as we go. Or if I feel like it's something that'll be better for the Q&A, then we will go there. So I first want to show you one of the products that I'm going to be using today, and this is the Rongrong Big Money Energy Sticker Book. Is my desk pinned, Spotlight? Are you able to see the big version of that? Okay. Because on the iPad it's not pinning, so I want to make sure everyone can see. All right, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of an overview of this sticker book. This has 24 pages of money management stickers, and we have some weekly spending and bill pay and bill due stickers. We have bill paid stickers, and I say this in all of my videos, but one of my favorite things about Rongrong stickers is that they're on this nice, thick, premium quality sticker paper, which I feel like always elevates my planner. We have some spending stickers for categories like dining out, coffee, shopping, and concerts, and checklists. We're just going to do this part quickly so you can see what I'm working with. Then we have these no spend tracker stickers and some transactions and savings, some bill stickers, some nice long budget review stickers, and then regular functional boxes. And then some more bill due stickers. We have words like paid off, investments, and tax day. Some monthly overview budget stickers and whole year overview. Different quarters of the year. We have savings goals, which I'm going to talk a lot about today. And then some fun combinations of quote stickers. I have a sneeze coming. Oop, I lost it because I talked about it. Okay. It may come back. It usually does. Some quote stickers and just also some box stickers and some more. I love these affirmations. I attract wealth and abundance. And then a lot of great functional stickers. Thank you, Jess. Then we have some fun icon stickers, and Rongrong has linked the book in the chat, and some more like bill icons, auto pay, payday. Then we have some really fun big clear stickers that have some affirmations and quotes. And you'll have a few pages of these. And then we have some abundant mindset, big money energy stickers. And some of the classic Rongrong girls. Really cute decorative stickers just to kind of dress up your budget planner a little bit. So that is a sticker book we are going to be using. I also have a Rongrong planner with me. I have some note paper and I have a ruler and a pen, and we may pull out a calculator. We'll see. So the first thing that I wanted to do is create a financial dashboard. And this can be used in a journal. It can be used on a notebook. You can use a loose sheet of paper. There's no rule about how you do this. But as I do this, I want to talk about the importance of it. So one of the big things that I always say when you're starting to get into a budgeting mindset, a financial mindset, and you're looking to change your life, whether it's a little bit or a huge amount, is you need to know your why. If you don't know your why, it's going to be really hard to make progress and find inspiration when things are going to get tough, because ultimately they always get tough, right? Nothing is ever easy 100% of the time. And your why can be your North Star when it comes to making changes in your life financially. So a really good example of this is when it comes to spending, especially like impulse spending. So for example, my big why right now is that I'm actually in the process of transitioning out of my full-time job and into a part-time role to pursue content creation and this business I've created full-time. And my rule for myself is that I need to have 1 year of bills saved up before I'll let myself do that, because I feel like that's a really good nest egg to be able to do it. So when I'm trying to save money right now, I think, do I want this thing that I saw this person share on Amazon? and I never thought I wanted before I saw this one random TikTok about it? Or do I want to be able to leave my job? Asking a simple question like that, the answer is very rarely going to be, I want that very random thing that I saw on social media. And knowing your why really helps me set myself straight when I get into like a spendy mood. You ever have that mood where you're like, I just want to spend some money? Like, I want to go to Home Goods. I want to go shopping. Like, just want to spend some money. My friends and I call it feeling a little spendy. And sometimes it happens. So, knowing what your financial goals are is a really good way to prevent you from those spendy moods. And the thing is, you can allow yourself to spend some money. I am never going to be the person who will say that a budget is about saving every single dollar that you have, right? Life still has to be fun. We still have to find ways to enjoy it. We can just do that by spending maybe a little bit less or being a little bit more intentional about the way that we save money. Yes, Katrina, retail therapy, I know. And the thing is, when we talk about the reasons that we spend money, sometimes we spend money because we're happy. Sometimes we spend money because we're sad. Sometimes we're celebrating something and sometimes we're mourning something. We spend emotionally in so many different ways, and it's not always because something bad is happening and we just need to go spend money. There's a lot of different things that trigger us. Sometimes when I'm celebrating something is when I want to do it because I'm like, I achieved this. I want to go buy something to celebrate. So we're going to make this little financial dashboard, kind of a vision board, kind of has some savings goals. And the first thing I'm going to do is write down my why. So I'm going to write, I want to save one full year of expenses so I can shift to a part-time position and have more freedom. That's my goal, is freedom, both in time and financially. Then we're going to add in another box here, is it's important to me that I grow my personal, and by grow, I sort of mean improve. So I want to write both of those down. My personal relationship with money. And that's something you'll hear me talk about a lot. It's really not just about what the paycheck says or what bills are due. It's about my relationship with money and the way that I look at it. So then we have two spots here for savings goals from stickers that I pulled from this sticker book. And the big saving goal is save for, I'm going to write job change. And then I have the amount. I don't remember the amount, but this is where you'll put the amount. And then the save by is, my goal is actually April 25th. So it's coming very soon. So we're going to write for 25. And then not just thinking about tomorrow, Ilysse, but trying to think about 30 years from now, Ilysse. A savings goal is retirement. And I'm trying to save the maximum possible amount that I can towards my retirement fund. At my current job, I do not have a 401k or anything like that. So saving for retirement falls entirely on me. And this year, the retirement allowance for my age bracket, or the maximum contribution, is $7,500. And that save by date, technically I have until tax day of next year, but I give myself a 12-month limit. So I'm going to set a date of 12/31/25. And now we have a little bit of a financial dashboard. So I'm curious if you can jump into the comments. What's your why? If you had to identify your why right now, what are some reasons? Is it because you want to teach your children better ways than you learned? Is it because you want to be prepared in case of an emergency or a job loss? I'm really curious to see what everyone else's why is. That'll be your North Star when you're budgeting: retirement, freedom, and live a slow life. I like that. So if you haven't already, I would really recommend sitting down and spending some time creating a financial dashboard. So now that we know travel more. Yes, I want to travel more too, get out of debt. Being vague is okay. You just don't want to stress about money. That's a really good thing because you can still ask yourself that question, right? That example question. Do I want to buy this item or do I want to stress about money? Will buying this item bring me further to or closer from my goal? It's okay to have something vague if you can ask yourself that question using your why. Purchase a home, start a family. Oh, there's so many exciting ones. This makes me so happy because we're really spending time thinking about it. So now that we have an idea of our why and why we want to budget, there are certain things that you just got to do when you are an adult, right? Like we all wanted to grow up and no one told us that it's not going to be that much fun. There's so many annoying things that you have to do as an adult. Like, you know what bothers me? Having to buy garbage bags. I have to buy something to put my trash in for the sole purpose of throwing it out. And garbage bags aren't cheap. And it's like the one thing as an adult that makes me crazy that I have to spend money on. But I've got to do it. So I'm going to, right? Like, who decided that I could go on for the entire call about buying garbage bags. Now, the next thing that I want to do is actually create a page in my planner to be able to track my bills. I've gotten better over the years, but there have been a couple of times recently that I have literally forgotten to pay a bill, and it makes me crazy because sometimes there comes an extra fee with that, and that's never something that you want. So I have these bill stickers, and what I'm going to do is start to stack them here. You deserve a future that is fulfilling. Yes, and money isn't a limiting factor in what you can do. Absolutely. More cushion, Katrina. Hi, Katrina. Yes, having more cushion. You're so close to retirement. There's never anything wrong with having more cushion. Here's how I feel about saving money. You're never going to regret saving money. You could be saving for this is such a random example and it probably won't happen, but let's just use it. You could be saving for a new car and have a certain amount of money set aside for a new car. And then somehow someone is like, here's the perfect brand new car for you. I'm going to give you this as a gift because you're the best person in the entire world. Well, now what do you do with that money that you had saved up for the car, right? You're not going to be like, oh, I wish I hadn't saved that money. Like, no, you'll be able to use the money for something else. It can be towards debt. It can be towards another financial goal. But you know that old quote that says, like, start now, or a year ago, you wish you would have started today? That's how I feel about saving. You're never going to regret starting to save. So with a bill pay tracker, you haven't bought eggs in 2 weeks. I know. Tina, I will tell you, I found eggs at Whole Foods for less expensive than like my local inexpensive grocery store. And they're better quality eggs. So if you have a Whole Foods near you, I would check it out. But yeah, gain financial security, less anxiety about debt and money. Yes, Whole Foods. I was so surprised, but they had it. Okay. So now I have my bill stickers. I put them really tightly on the left side because we are going to use my ruler. And I'm going to create a line down and then start to list out the months of the year. I'm not measuring this perfectly. One thing that you should know about me is I do things with what works for me. It's not always 100% perfect. It's never going to be perfectly spaced, but it's good for me, and that works. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Okay. Now, Whole Foods sells out of eggs fast. And you know what? You got to find someone who works at Whole Foods and like find out when they restock and just like stalk them. And then I'm going to draw these lines down. And this is like a really simple 5-minute way to create a dashboard for your bills in your planner. I'm all about time management, but in an efficient way. And as long as it looks kind of cute and it works, that's what's most important. What I often say about planner pages that aren't the most like the best thing I've ever created is if I open this page, is it going to prevent me from using my planner? Am I going to say, you know what? I can't write my plans in that because it's not perfectly spaced out and things aren't perfectly aligned. It's like, no, I'm not that kind of person. If you are, then you may want to spend a little bit more time spacing these out than I am. But it's one of those questions that I ask myself, like, is it the end of the world? So getting clarity on where your money is going will be huge for you. Then you can make better decisions. Absolutely. All right, now I would also recommend if you're going to create something like this, it may be better to use dot grid paper than lined paper like I'm doing here, because I think this makes it a little bit more complicated. But I'm just going to go across and create this grid. And you'll want to put as many bill due stickers as you have. I would only use this for monthly bills. If you have quarterly or annual bills, I would definitely recommend creating a separate page for those. This is going to be best used for annual bills, I'm sorry, for monthly bills, but I will show you a way that you can use it quarterly as well. Okay, now just to close this off. I know I went a little bit far on those lines there. Then I'm going to go ahead and write in my bills. And I like to write them in order of when they're due. So my mortgage is on the 1st, and then my homeowners association is also on the 1st. Then I have my car on the 6th. My car insurance. An Excel spreadsheet before Excel. Yes, exactly. That's kind of what we're making right now. But I have my car insurance, and then I have my electric bill. Oops, I wrote that in the wrong spot. Correction tape is your friend. So we'll do my electric, my internet. I do love paper and stickers. I love it. I really do. My phone bill. I have a credit card. My dental insurance. And then my Netflix. I'm actually very excited to report that I am going to be canceling my Netflix account because if you follow me on social media, you may know that my boyfriend just moved in with me this month, and we both have Netflix accounts and we don't both need Netflix accounts. So I am getting rid of my Netflix account. I sent my mom and stepdad an eviction notice. And I said, it is time to get your own Netflix account. You have had 10 years of free streaming. And I literally like found a photo and eviction notice and texted it to both of them. So, okay. Now we have pencils and erasers. I know pencil and eraser would be easier. I don't even think I own a pencil. Like recently I was looking for one. I was like, I don't think I have one. So now we have our bill pay tracker, and there are two different ways that you could use this. Because I know what all of my bills are, and the only variables are credit cards, but everything else pretty much stays the same. Once I've paid it, I'd check it off, or I really like using a bullet point marker for this. So today I paid some bills, so I paid some March bills. So we're just going to check off or use a bullet point marker that a bill has been paid. The other way that you can do this, if you want to give yourself a little bit more room, you may need a bigger sheet of paper, or you can turn it horizontally, is writing in the amount that you spent. So if my credit card bill for the month was $180, I now have that $180 listed here. So if I'm curious in a couple of months, like what my monthly bill tends to look like, I have that reference here. And then once it's paid, you could use another type of highlighter or something just to highlight that you've paid it. If you have a bill that is quarterly, so let's say one of these bills were quarterly and the first bill is January, I would just mark off the months that it's not due. So January, February, March, right? Then we have April, and then I would just mark off these months. This way you're not wondering if it was due and you missed something. Am I doing this right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, there we go. There's a lot of boxes on this page. And there you have a quarterly bill. So again, this is great for monthly and you have or monthly bills, and you have this as an overview at the start of your planner or wherever you're using it. Again, you could use it in a bullet journal, anything like that. This way you never wonder if a bill was paid. You can track them, make sure they're paid. You could see the difference in price if you want to, and then nothing ever gets missed and you never get slapped with late fees. So that's really important. Okay. Do you have any questions about a bill pay sheet like this? Okay. Next up, no late fees. I know late fees, oh, I've paid them and I'm not thrilled about paying them. Okay. Next up, I'm going to talk about the horrible at estimating what amount to budget. So I'm going to pull out another sheet of paper and my big money energy sticker book, and we are going to go to these. Yes.
Just letting you know that we're at the halfway point.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So the next thing I'm going to do is, turn my page right side up, not upside down. That's the next thing I'm going to do. The thing I'm going to do after that is put down these monthly expense tracker stickers. And I want to talk a little bit about how to budget for certain categories like groceries as I put these stickers down. So if you are trying to figure out what you spend in certain areas of your life, I have some homework for you. And your homework is to go back through your last 12 months of bank account or credit card statements wherever you spend their most money. The only way this won't work is if you only use cash and you don't keep receipts. Here's why you have to go back through 12 months. You may spend differently on groceries as the example category in July than you do in December. There's no way to be able to just look at 1 month of spending and know that that's going to dictate the future month of spending. So most of the time when I did this, I was able to export all of my bank account statements. I didn't have any credit cards at the time, but I could export them from my bank and then import them into an Excel spreadsheet and just color code and categorize. Then I was able to see what I was spending on average. That's also what made me learn that I was spending an average of $120 a month at Starbucks. And at the time, I had a physical office, not from home. And there was a Starbucks 2 doors down from my office. So I was there all the time. Whenever I just needed a break, we would go down and go to Starbucks. And seeing that number and the average of what I was spending each month really was eye-opening to me because it told me what changes I wanted to make. So if you're having trouble estimating what amount you need to budget for groceries, the best way to do it is to look at your previous spending. I could tell you what I think a grocery budget should be, but that's for me. I was talking to my best friend today about budgeting. She has a husband, a baby, and a toddler. Her grocery bill is going to look very different from mine because we're feeding different amounts of people and different needs for people. I don't have to buy formula or dino nuggets. I'd like to buy dino nuggets, but there's healthier ways for me to fuel my body. So, really looking at your past spending is the only way. You could Google the heck out of what should a grocery budget be, but no one can answer that but you. And then you'll be able to kind of create that budget for future. You could look at the number and it's something that you're comfortable with or something that you're like, I need to make a change here. I was on a podcast a couple of years ago where we talked about takeout, like getting DoorDash or Uber Eats. And the person who was on the podcast said, even if I can afford to spend blank amount of money on takeout, once I looked at that number, it doesn't actually mean I was comfortable knowing that I was spending that amount of money on takeout. You may not be in debt. You may be able to afford whatever you want to spend your money on. But sometimes when you look at those numbers, it's a little bit eye-opening and may cause you to make some changes. So I have, you're welcome. Girl dinner, yes. I had mozzarella sticks for dinner yesterday. It was like all I could muster. It was like total girl dinner. So I've taken these stickers from one of the pages in the Big Money Energy sticker book and made a little grid here. For all the months, these stickers each have income, expense, plus or minus, a target, and an actual. So the thought I have with these stickers is that every month you're going to write down what your target income is, and then after you create a budget, your target for expenses, and then the plus or minus. So now that we have this page created in a planner, I want to talk a little bit about how I actually, create a budget. This is where I'm going to pull out my calculator because I already told you I'm horrible at math. So my calculator is beneath me. Okay, now there are a couple of different ways to budget. There's a lot of like rules that say, 50% should go towards certain areas and 30% should go towards others and 20% should go towards others. The simplest method I've found to budgeting, and I really emphasize simple because my math challenged brain cannot get into something complicated. I need really basic math. I'm going to pull out another sheet of notebook paper here. I feel like I need to write this big to be able to see it. Yes, girl math will get you in trouble. I have opinions on girl math, but we won't get into that now. So a budget is your income minus your expenses. Expenses include everything from bills to filling your car with gas. Or savings. Expenses can be savings too in this situation. Equals 0. This is called a zero-based budget. And it means that every dollar that I earn has a home. It has a dedicated space. There are some dollars that have homes that I have nothing to do with, like going to my mortgage. I can't change that. My money has to go to my mortgage. I need to have a roof over my head. But after I take my income, I'm going to use some fake math here. So let's say my income is $5,000. I'm choosing numbers that are going to be easy for me to do the math for because we already talked about the fact that I'm not good at it. If my income is $5,000 and I add up all of my bills each month and the total amount for my bills is $3,500. I am now left with a balance of, is that right? $1,500 that I get to decide where it goes. So again, we have my income and we have my bills. And I'm left with $1,500. It's up to me where that $1,500 goes. Do I want it to go towards savings? Do I want it to go towards debt? Other categories that I spend money on: gas, groceries. Everyone in my life has babies all the time, so I always budget for gifting because it's always someone's baby shower or someone's birthday. Where's is my brain like not working of some other categories? We can do clothing, dining out. I have a home category for things like garbage bags and laundry detergent and dishwasher detergent. Recently, I was at my mom's house and I was like, "So do you still like stock a lot of things in your basement?" She was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I'm about to be out of Parmesan cheese, and I'm just like wondering if you've been to Costco recently." She was like, "No, go buy your own Parmesan cheese." But, I tried. Like I tried because if she had it, I think she would have given it to me. So then we're going to take all of the areas that we spend money on. This is going to be different for everyone. You may have children that have a fee to be able to play a sport or tuition, or, we all have different things that we spend money on. Maybe you drive a lot and you commute to work and you want to pick up Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. That's your joy of the day and you love being able to pick that up. Your son grabs things. Yes, shopping at Mama Mart. You get it. See? And if I have children one day, they can come shop here. Yeah. So now I have to decide what's going to happen to this $1,500. So because I have a really big savings goal right now, I'm going to put half of it into savings. Again, just examples here. Sometimes being as simple as paper and pen or pencil is the best way to do this because you don't get distracted by anything else. Now, for my example, I'm going to cross off debt because I don't have any, so I don't need to work on that. So now we have $750 left that I can decide what to work with. I don't do a ton of driving, so I'm only going to say that $35 needs to go for gas. I do need to add in a manicure though, because I do get manicures. Now we have $715. I tend to budget $60 a week for groceries, which I know a lot of people is very low. I really try to make $60 a week work. So in 4 weeks, that's $240. And now we are left with $475. So the number is going down. I'm going to put $50 into gifting. And now I'm left with $425. The next priority category here should be home, because there's always more garbage bags to be purchased. It is $35 a month for gas, but there's some reasons. Number one, I work from home full time, so I drive maybe once a week, if that. Number two, my boyfriend has a battery operated car, not battery, what's it called? He doesn't use gas, an electric car, thank you. And he does a lot of the driving, and so I rarely use my car. So I am a little bit lucky in that sense, but mostly because I work from home, I don't have to commute anywhere. So for the home category, I'm going to put $70 in. I think that should be plenty. And now we're left with $355. I tend to spend about $75 for the month on a manicure. So now we're left with $280. I'm going to do $150 of that for dining out. I think that's a good number. And now I have $130 left. The other category that's in here is clothing. I don't need to set a clothing budget of $130. I'm an adult. My size doesn't really change unless I put on or lose weight, but I don't need to add a $130 clothing budget. So maybe we'll just do like $60 here. Cell phone would be included in the bills because I have that up here. So now I have $70. So for this example, what I could do here is write buffer. You could also write miscellaneous, and this is for anything else that may come up. One of the savings categories that I have, I call my aunt fund. I have a niece and nephew who live less than a half hour from me, and sometimes when we spend time together, there's money to be had. There's money to be spent. My brother recently asked me to help out with them because he was sick, and we ended up going to lunch in Dave and Buster's, and we got pretzels at the mall, and my nephew wanted Starbucks, and it was quite the pricey day. If I hadn't prepared an ant fund for those types of days, then I would have to wonder what category of my budget that was going to come out of. So, or a Rongrong flash sale. Yeah, exactly. We're going to add Rongrong to our list of categories. And you could also add something like a hobby, right? Because I also like to spend money on stationery supplies and planner supplies. And I truly believe that budgeting is not limiting yourself. Budgeting is giving yourself the freedom to spend money the way that you want to while being mindful of your goals. So this was really the one like non-sticker thing that I wanted to show you, just so that you could understand how I go about creating a budget. And it's really as simple as the math. When you take your income and you subtract your bills, what's left, and then you decide what you want to do with what's left. And a lot of that is freedom. If you have your income and your bills, and somehow your bills are higher, then it's time to increase your income or lower your bills. How do you budget for utilities? Great question. I live in New Jersey, and my electric company has what's called an equal payment plan, where after a year of being in my home, they averaged my monthly bill. So every single month I pay the same amount, but when I get to June, which is when mine recalculates, I will either get a credit or I'll owe money. If you don't have that opportunity, the next thing I would do is look at the last 12 months of your utilities and budget the average of that. Because even if you're not paying that amount every month, when you average it, it'll balance out. So if you pay more in December, but you pay less in March, you keep that money set aside that you didn't need in March, because in July, when the bills go up again, you'll be able to use it. I hope that that helps answer that question. Okay. Jess, can I just do a time check so I can decide what we do next?
Yes, we have about 16 minutes, and then we have like 30 minutes of like Q&A at the end.
Okay.
So
the next thing that I want to show you then is I have my Rongrong planner here, and I want to show you how you can use this planner as a budget planner, because this has a really great setup. I don't know if we can put a link to this planner. Okay, Macy, here's what you do. If you're moving into an apartment in July and you haven't paid utilities yet, call your electric company. Call the electric company of the apartment that you're moving into. It should be one for your state. And ask them, yes, exactly. Ask them what the average is for the property. That's what I did actually before I even finished buying my house, because I was like, I'm going to need to know how much to budget for utilities before I even move in to make sure I can afford it. So call the utility company, let them know you're moving, and see what they can do. Okay. Rongrong put the build your planner. Thank you so much. And I wanted to talk about how we can use this as a budget planner. So one of the things that I really like to use when I'm doing a budget planner is I like to color code, because my brain functions a lot better when I see things like by color and I can identify what they are right away. So I'm going to pull out a couple of colors of dot markers here. I know I love color coding too. And then I also want to pull out some of these big money energy stickers. So let's date this planner, right? What's Monday's date? The 3rd, right? The 3rd. Is that correct? Okay. So where should I date this? I could go on the left or the right. I think we're just gonna go right here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay, so we have the 3rd through the 9th. Of course, I picked a week where I only have one bill, but that's okay. So I'm going to take a bill due sticker, and actually I want to take the bill due stickers that have this one here. And I'm going to take this sticker and put it right here. I actually, for this purpose, I want to cut off the balance word because I'm not going to need it. These stickers with the balance are really great when it's something that you are going to carry a balance for. In this situation, I won't need it. So I'm going to take Bill and we'll write Honda. And my amount due is 4/21. You could also write date due. You can kind of use these interchangeably. So I'm going to actually do it perfectly fits 4/21, and it is due on the 6th. And then I can just make like my own little checkbox there to note that I've paid it. You could also put these bill due stickers over here if you wanted to have the space for that. So I think that the best use of these areas over here is for any bills that are due. Another way that you can use that space is for inspiration and fun stickering. So I like my money how I like my coffee all day, every day. However, if I have caffeine after like noon, like crazy all day, you should see me. Okay, so now we're going to go to the left side and I'm going to show you a little trick here. This to-do area, I wouldn't tend to have a ton of to-dos if I'm using this as a budget planner. So I'm going to grab a box sticker and cover it up. And again, I mentioned I love that Rongrong stickers are nice and thick, that it covers up the word perfectly. And we're going to call this shopping list. And you could use this as a shopping list for anything that you need to pick up for the week. You could also use it as a grocery shopping list and just kind of put that down. Now, we need to do our color coding key. So actually, we have priorities. Priorities can be your financial priorities for the week. It can be pay Honda, finish taxes, and another priority. I want to go through this part kind of quickly because I want to make sure I actually show you how to use this as a budget planner before we run out of the time. I also wanted to talk about these habit trackers. So there's a couple of habits that I really recommend working towards when it comes to improving your relationship with money. One of them is check accounts. When I was having trouble with money, I would never check my bank account, and it resulted in spending a lot of money in overdraft fees. If you have a challenging relationship with money, start checking your bank account every day. I do it while my coffee is brewing, and getting into that habit every single day makes it less scary. Another one is mindful spending. And I think of mindful spending as being mindful of your spending. I think of mindful spending as really sitting down to think before spending money. Is this going to help me get closer to or further from my goal? There's also no spend stickers in here. And I think that a lot of times we hear of a no spend and it gets a little bit complicated because it's like, no spend. What if I have bills to pay? What if I have to get gas? How am I supposed to not spend any money for an entire week or an entire month? No spends don't have to be that complicated. I set no spend categories all the time. And an example of a no spend category for me would be Amazon. And I may say for this 1 week or month, I will not buy anything on Amazon. And I tend to really spend a lot less money, and it surprises me of how much I actually spend when I say I'm not allowed to spend it in that category. I've also done no spending on takeout or going to restaurants. So back when I was single, I would let myself get one meal, one breakfast, one lunch, and one dinner out per month. So if I woke up in the morning and really craved a bacon, egg, and cheese, anyone here in the Northeast knows what I'm talking about, and I decide to get that bacon, egg, and cheese, I can't go buy that for the entire month. If I'm out running errands on a weekend and I want to pick up lunch, even though I probably have lunch at home, that lunch is going to be the only lunch I can buy out for the month, unless I have plans with other people. This really helps me when I feel like I'm overspending on dining out when I'm also buying groceries. So now we have our color coding. So I'm going to use these dot markers. You can really use any bullet point sticker, any highlighter. It doesn't have to be these specific markers. And we can put them down here. And this is where I'm going to categorize them. And write down the different categories that I spend money in. So let's say food, clothing. What were some of the other budget categories we just set? Home. I'm going to add groceries to this because groceries and dining out are two different things. You know what? Let's do pets. I don't have a pet, but I hope to get one this year. And I know that pets are expensive. So starting to prepare for that. And then we can do gas. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my ruler and actually just extend this line down here that's already on the page. Pets are so expensive. Yeah, oh, traveling ones, I'm sure. And then I'm actually going to continue with these bullets. And the idea here is that at the end of the week, I'm going to use this right side to total up what I spent in each category. So the way that we're going to use these is, let's say on Monday I get gas and I can write $22.75. And on Monday, I also picked up some groceries and spent $37.50. You'll note that I'm not writing down pet or groceries, and I don't need to because I've already put the bullet point color that matches what I set over here on the left side. If you wanted to write down where it was spent, you could do that too. I mean, gas is just going to be at a gas station. But if I got groceries at Whole Foods, I could do that. Now, let's say on Saturday, I went to ShopRite, which is a local grocery store here, or regional, because I forgot to buy milk and I needed, oops, I wrote ShopRite when I just said I wasn't going to write it, but I think you get the gist of it. So the idea here is if your pet needed food this day, but you needed more poop bags for your dog, I don't know what they cost, but we're going to do some examples. $37. I feel like 37 is always an example number that I do here. And then on Friday, I saw a sale on shoes and decided that I wanted to buy some. We just kind of go through this. And then at the end of the week, okay, thank you, Jess. At the end of the week, I can see that twice I had my red category, which was food. So I'm going to do $37.50 plus $4 is $41.50. And once you total this all up, as you turn the page to the next week in your planner, you can see what you spent in the previous week that you're like, you know what? I went a little bit over on food that week and groceries. I think I want to go into the next week spending a little bit less. It's a really great way to reflect week from week to week and make some changes. Last year, I learned that, a lot of times when we talk about budgeting, some people are just really expense tracking. And there's a difference between budgeting and expense tracking. When you're only tracking your expenses, you're writing everything down after you spend the money, but you're not actually setting a plan for yourself and your budget. You're only looking at it after the fact. Doing something like this and giving yourself that weekly reflection allows you to make some changes moving into the next week. And then some of the other stickers in here that could also be really great to use. Again, you could do some decorative, you can do some functional. Oh, you know what? Because we don't have a ton of time left, I also wanted to show you these quarterly stickers as well. So I think I actually have an example here of using these. I had an example, but these quarterly stickers are also great for tracking your budget and your finances over the year because you may be in one position financially in quarter one, another in quarter four. So these stickers also really help, similar to the monthly stickers here. The idea and using bullet points. Yeah, I find that the bullet points are really helpful. They make it simple. Some budget planners are really complicated and it's like the date of the expense, what it was, where you bought it, what payment method you went. Like it's so over involved and it doesn't always need to be because sometimes when things are too over involved, it makes us less hesitant to do them. So if all you really need to do is see what you spent and how, like where you spent and how much you spent, this is a really good system for you and something to try out and see if it works for you. Any questions about this or any of the other pages that I made here? Okay, one other idea is for the no spend stickers. Let me show you. You could take a no spend sticker, and if you have a planner with a monthly overview, like I do here, you can take these no spend stickers, which are a perfect fit, and set them up each week. And one week, your no spend can be Amazon. Let me go a little bit closer here. You can set them up here. So for this week, it could be Amazon. For this week, it could be takeout. For this week, it could be any area that you want to reduce your spending. So I really love these in a monthly as well. And they are the perfect fit. So if you're feeling like no spend is something you want to try, but you're overwhelmed by it, just try with one category and that should help. Okay.
Ilysse,
Yes.
so we have a question. Somebody wanted to know if you can share the bullet point markers. She wants those.
Yes. I can probably somehow grab a link. I don't know how I can grab it with, you know what? Do we need to see my planner anymore for this? I think, where are we on time, Jess? Are we just going to do the
Yeah.
Q&A portion?
We are right on time, but let's give everyone like a minute or so to, let us know if they want to see anything else on the planner before we
Sure.
like switch to the official like Q&A. Do we have any questions regarding the planner so that Ilysse could show us? Yeah.
I'm going to try to.
Oh, we have.
I don't know that I'm seeing comments in the chat anymore.
I'm going to unmute Ada. Let me see, how do I unmute her? I need to find her first. Okay. Ask to unmute.
Oh, I put the dot marker link in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you, Ilysse.
How about I just wanted to ask, thank you. I just wanted to ask, how about do you do like a savings tracker weekly in your planner?
I don't do a savings tracker weekly, but I do monthly savings. So actually, when I'm creating a budget in the month, and I sort of did that when I made the monthly budget example, is I decided how much I was going to put in savings from my income. So there's a saying to spend what's left after saving, don't save what's left after spending. This helps me make sure that I am saving before I let myself spend any money. I do have some other trackers that I'll do as I start to reach a savings goal. This might be a good opportunity, Jess and Rongrong, if you agree to show another savings thing. Yes. Okay.
Sure.
So in November, I published a publisher published a book. It is called the Cash Stash Activity Book that I wrote last year, and this is my book. And it has 75 fun money savings challenges from $50 to $10,000. This book is available. I think we just linked it in the chat. Yes, and we have a fun image there. And what's really fun about this book is that there's a little bit of information about like how to use it. There's a financial personality quiz, which is really cool. There's areas to create a budget. But what's really fun is that the pages are perforated. You can tear these pages out, and there's 75 different money savings challenges. Some of them are game themed, some of them are color in themed. We even have a Save-opoly. And there's a lot of different prompts, and something like this would be how I would track a savings goal. I do have a flip through of it on my YouTube channel. Yes, I don't know if I can grab the link right now, but this example says, what am I saving for and when is my deadline? And then over time, progress adds up to big results. See how quickly you can save $100 by coloring in $1 each time you save. So I like doing fun little savings challenges and trackers as a way to keep me motivated and see where my progress is.
That's awesome. Does anyone else have any questions?
I was just
Oh yeah, go ahead, Ada.
I was just curious, is do you keep this as part of your planner, catch-all planner, or is this a separate planner that you use?
This or the budget?
Your budget.
I like to keep my budget planner separate because when I sit down to budget, I don't want to be distracted by anything else.
Mm.
So some people may prefer to have all their whole planner in one, every category of their life all in one planner. But I really like to be able to be like, okay, now it's budget time. I'm going to sit down and budget. Now it's time to track my reading. I'm going to open my reading planner and really keep that focus. Otherwise, I get a little bit too distracted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How often would you say you're tracking your finances?
So I'm tracking my finances in 3 ways. One of them is daily, and that's by checking my bank account and my credit card every single morning to make sure that there's nothing incorrect. The other way is weekly by looking at my spending from week to week and making decisions moving forward. And then the other is monthly because I create a budget every month based on my bills and my income. I could also say that I'm doing it quarterly and annually. Basically, every way to separate the time is kind of how I budget. It just depends on how much time goes into it and how much energy I'm putting towards it. You know, my daily is just 90 seconds as my coffee brews. But monthly, I'm going to spend more time creating a budget and evaluating my savings goals than I would every single day. I'm not saying to spend an hour a day, just the 90 seconds to check the account and make sure everything's the way it should be.
Thank you. I love the idea of like checking like those 90 seconds in the morning as you're sipping your coffee. Like it literally doesn't take any time at all. So I love that you said that. Rongrong, we have some more few questions.
Ada, you have follow-up?
Yes, please. Oh geez, did I just forget? Oh my gosh. What were you saying you were talking about?
I was talking about checking your bank account and budgeting on.
So that's what I was going to ask you. When you mentioned quarterly, it made me think, would you suggest, like the annual subscriptions, like I have HBO, but I pay it annually.
Mm-hmm.
Would you suggest like kind of saving up for that every month?
Yes. So have you ever heard of a sinking fund?
Yes.
Okay, so for those who haven't, a sinking fund is saving money for a very specific category of something that you know is going to happen. There's 2 examples of sinking funds that I like to give. One of them is Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, you know that it comes every single year. It's not a surprise. You know exactly when it's coming, and you can save every month leading up to Christmas. The other one is something that you know is coming, but you don't know when. And a good example for that is fixing a flat tire. if you have a car, something is going to go wrong eventually. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know that it's likely to happen. And so saving for something, even though you don't know when you're going to need the money, is a really big recommendation. If you pay for a bill annually, like an HBO subscription, do you mind me asking what that costs annually?
Uh,
About?
it's about $140 a month, or
Okay. Wait, 140 a month?
no, a year.
A year, okay. That's an expensive subscription.
Right.
So 140 times 12 is like 1166. So putting aside 1167, let's say, per month would be a really great way to include that in your budget so that in whatever month your HBO subscription comes up, let's say it's March, you're like, I have that money set aside and now I don't have to spend that $140 out of somewhere else in my budget because I prepared and I have this money ready. Think of sinking funds like a gift certificate you're buying yourself for a certain category in your life. A gift certificate for Christmas, a gift certificate for your HBO subscription, a gift certificate for new tires on your car when you drive over a nail.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna unmute Heather. Heather, you can ask your question.
So how do you, if you don't have your income, like I work in retail, so I don't have, it's hourly and it varies every paycheck. How do you figure out your income for that?
That's a really good question. Thank you. So that would be considered a variable income. And there's two ways you can go about it, and I think it depends on how much it varies. You could, if you're able to, I would recommend setting a budget for the lowest amount of hours you may work. So let's say it's 20. I don't know how many hours are actually on your in your pay periods, but if you are able to budget with the least amount of possible hours, anything you earn on top of that, any hours you work above that are going to be able to be bonus dollars to be able to put towards your financial goals, towards debt, towards savings. If you're not able to live off of the lowest possible hours you may work, then it's again time to average it out. Look at what your last 12 months or 6 months of pay stubs and paychecks looked like and use that number as the average. If there's a month that you earn a little bit more, still budget with that lower average number because the next month where you may earn a little bit less, you'll have that buffer ready and saved because you didn't spend all that you earned on a good month.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I saw there was a question in the chat. So when I look at my 12 months of spending, how many categories should you break it into? I get overwhelmed because it drilled down too much. Are there more general categories you should start with? Yeah, I think that getting overwhelmed can be really, really common, and I've been there too. So I think that one of the areas that can be tough to drill down the categories is if you buy from big box stores like Target or Amazon or Walmart or something like that, and you're not entirely sure where that money came from. In those cases, you would need to look at the receipts. But I think that if you can look at any of your spending categories and see if they work with each other. So sometimes I create a category called fun category. And in the fun category, I'll include things like going out to dinner. I could even include time with my niece and nephew into that category. I could do going to the movies or mini golf or any like seasonal, fun things that cost money. If I feel like every single time I go out and spend money for fun, I'm trying to categorize all of those separately, that would feel really overwhelming. So I would look at what categories you may be able to merge together as a way to not get overwhelmed. And then over time, you can break it down further if you feel like you're having trouble budgeting with something so broad. Does that help? I hope it helps. The general categories that I would start with would be things like fun, groceries, home spending, pet if you have it, a child's activities if you have it, gas, like all of the basic areas that you would spend money. Okay, I'm glad it helped.
So if you all want to let us know what you've learned or what your biggest takeaway from this workshop is, you don't necessarily have to have a question, but if you want to just say something in general to us or Ilysse, definitely raise your hand. Once again, to raise your hand, you just like use the react button at the bottom. It's like a heart. You tap that and then it's a little raise your hand, just to review.
I would like to say something that I know we're not leaving yet, but I want to leave you with. If there's one thing you remember from tonight's Zoom, we wake up in the morning and we typically have a plan for our day, right? We go into a new month and we have a plan for a month. We make plans with our loved ones and people in our lives. All a budget is a plan for your money. If you have a plan for everything else in your life, don't make it too complicated to create a plan for your money, because why is your money not worthy of a plan? Stop thinking of it as restricting. Don't think of it as limiting yourself. We are planners. Just have a plan. Have a plan for your money. I know what I'm going to do the rest of the night, right? I'm going to put on pajamas and watch a TV show and go to bed. So my next paycheck, I should know where that's going to go.
Literally finger snaps, like, well said. This is like, I really needed this and I needed to hear this like so badly. So I'm so grateful to have you here. And yeah, thank you.
I'm so glad. The concept of no spend on a certain thing. Yes, so often people only talk about no spend, and it's just like that's not really realistic and it's overwhelming. And if you end up spending when you intended not to, a quote I feel like I'm just like spitting out quotes tonight. So sorry, but it said something like if you were going on a road trip and you made a wrong turn, would you go back home or would you find your way? You're not just going to give up on a trip, you're going to find your way. If you're working on a budget or you're working on a no spend and you're finding a challenge, don't give up. Find your way and keep going because it's really worth it. It's really, really worth it. You're never going to regret focusing more energy and time on your finances.
Ilysse, I have a question.
Yes.
So I feel like you're very knowledgeable. Like it seems like you did a lot of research, right, on like financing and stuff. I wanted to know like if you have like a podcast or like what are some resources that you have like, used to grow your knowledge or build on your knowledge.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of my knowledge has just been experience. I don't even know that there's any specific podcast. I really like reading financial books, but I don't always agree with them. But I think that the more we learn about, the more we read, like the better. So I'm gonna pull open my book because I have some resources in the back just to like try to pull off the top of my head. I'm struggling a little bit, but I have read a few budget books that I really like. One is called My Money, My Way. That's by the Budget Mom. You may know who she is. And another one is called Rich AF, the winning money mindset that'll change your life. Yes, the Budget Mom on Instagram is great. If you want to focus more on the habits and the way that you do things and less about the dollars themselves, I would read Atomic Habits by James Clear. And that's a really good book about your habits because like I said at the beginning of this, so much of money in our lives has some sort of relationship, emotional tie to it. And it's not just about the calculator, it's about what goes, where we come from, how we were raised, what our current circumstances are. And there's a lot more of like a psychological component to money. Thank you. We're so happy that this workshop is helpful. This was so much fun. I love talking about money. And what's really cool is money is such a taboo topic, and it has been a taboo topic, but the more that I've talked about money over the years, the more the people in my life talk about money. My friends and I are having conversations about money that we never would have had before. But the less it becomes the secret that no one's allowed to talk about, the more everyone communicates about it, but it also helps people feel less alone because friends of mine can talk together about challenges that we're having and we're adults and we work good jobs and why are we struggling and why are things so difficult, and we can actually talk to each other about that and not have the shame that for generations have been associated with talking about money because it's really never been allowed before.
And I recently watched a YouTube video. People this expert mentioned about why the upper class refuse doesn't teach us money at school and refuse to give us this mindset money, secret money is not allowed to talk because they want to keep the working class working and they
Mm-hmm.
don't want us to know all about money and how to become wealthy, all that stuff. So that's really my opinion. The more we talk about, the more we are seeking, the more we planning, budgeting, investing, the more that we grow. And it's not some secret. And we all should be more open and just have a positive mindset about money and investing and saving. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's wrong. I know that you focus so much on empowering women, and nothing makes me happier than seeing women here having these financial discussions because
Yeah.
my grandmother didn't know anything about, money, right? Her husband like it's such a great thing to do. And, I'm not a mom, but I'm an aunt to a very feisty little 9-year-old, and she wants to be president one day. And she sees that I am this like independent woman who has a business, who has a house and can handle my own. I love my boyfriend, but can handle my own, and showing her that it's okay to do that. You don't need to rely on a man to do that. And we're growing all these future generations by taking steps like being here on tonight's workshop to improve your own relationship with money.
Oh yeah, definitely for
Yeah.
sure.
Katrina, yes, I did start with Wild University years ago, and they have an amazing course on budgeting through Jen Plans. If you don't follow Jen Plans on Instagram, I would definitely go follow her. She doesn't post a ton anymore, but she has a lot of history on her account of great things. And she's one of the people I learned to budget from originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been in similar financial situations.
Is that Jen Plans like 2 N's or 1 N?
1 N. I think it's Jen_plans. Here, I'll put it here in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
She's also on YouTube, but she hasn't posted in a while. But her back history of stuff is great. Excuse me.
Maybe she reached her millionaire goal. She doesn't need a budget anymore.
Yeah.
But this is so cool. And I hope everyone who are here that has some sort of plan or goal in mind. And this workshop we're gonna publish on my website and YouTube. You can watch over and over. We'll be able to help you to reach the goal. Think about next year, this day, February 27, 2026, right? Oh my God.
I know.
Where you want to be and where the money goal that you want to reach. So always have that goal in mind. And next year, hopefully we'll send you an email and check up with you, see where you are now and where you want to be. So. And that's something my coach always remind me, is this where you want to be next year or next 3 years? So it's definitely good to be very mindful about how you spend your money.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I agree. And if you're wondering what to do now, right? You are off this workshop, you're feeling motivated, and you're not sure what to do next. I'm going to give you 3 action steps. So if you want to write this down, go for it. Okay. Number 1, write down your why. A ton of you put it in the chat when we first started this Zoom. So I want you to write down your why. Why do you want to budget? Why do you want to improve your relationship with money? Step 2 is go back through your last 12 months of spending and look at your average of expenses. If 12 months just feels unfathomable to you, go back through last year at this time So let's say by the time you do this last March, because if your life circumstance was similar last March, aside from inflation and the price of eggs, you should probably spend the similar amount of money this March. Once you've done the month, try to do 6 and then try to do 12 if you need to work your way up to it. But going through your previous spending. And then step 3 is make a budget. Income minus bills, and then you take what's left, and it's up to you where that money goes. Remember, a budget is having a plan for your money. Another way to phrase it is a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. The next Rongrong book is going to be quotes that Ilysse says. And just like spit out. It's like, I don't know where they're all coming from tonight. They won't stop. It's like there's a string on my back that someone keeps pulling and like spitting out these financial quotes.
Those are golden. I'm definitely gonna include all this stuff in the recap email and in the YouTube description so people can glance if they want.
Yeah, so we have a few more minutes left, everyone. So let us know, get your last questions in or comments. And otherwise, we're just going to wrap it up.
Elise, can you put your like YouTube or Instagram so people
Yeah.
can check you out and follow you?
Yep. Oh, here's something. So every single Friday, I post over on Instagram, typically a 1-minute video that I call Financial Fridays, where it's a 1 minute long tip or trick to help you budget. And so I don't remember what tomorrow's is, but there will be one tomorrow. But it's always one quick little tip. So if you follow me and stay tuned there, I'm really having a lot of fun with this. I started it in the first Friday of January, and we're going to do it every week throughout the year. So there'll be 52 tips. So overall, it'll be almost an hour of tips, but they're all these just like one tiny little thing that you can do that may help you improve your budget. So it's been a really fun little theme each week. I do see that there's a hand up though.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to kind of share that I was inspired and wanted to show kind of what I ended up pulling my budget book out and my monthly budget. So just while we were sitting here in the chat.
I'm so glad that you did. I'm glad you were inspired.
Yeah.
It's fun to do it with others, right? It doesn't feel as like quiet and alone. So you can next time you do it, you can sit and watch the replay for others.
Yes. Yep. I always get together with my cousin as well. So sometimes we will have budgeting sessions at my kitchen table.
Oh, that's fun. I want to start to do those.
Yeah, I love that.
It's good to find an accountability body to do it together. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome, everyone. Anyone else have a question? I know probably there's so many gold gem and like golden nuggets. We probably have to come back and rewatch again. While you do your monthly, weekly planning, you can come back to this replay. And then we will send it out tomorrow for all of you. Watch out your email to you. Do you have a so Ada just asked me, do I have an alphabet and numbers book? We have a numbers book called Time to Date. The alphabet will come in the fall, so we will, and we're adding more functional stuff, and continue doing more growth and ladies for inclusivity. So, and in March we have a big spring launch. So stay tuned for that.
I got the box today and it's
Oh,
amazing.
nice.
I opened it right before our Zoom.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait to announce everybody to everybody. Thank you everyone for joining us and thank you big hug further far away to Ilysse for your time and
Yes.
for your knowledge. And it's really inspiring for everyone.
Thank
So
you so much for having me. There is one more question. Can I just answer the
yeah,
last question here?
yeah.
Is it possible to do the following three all at once, or do you recommend focusing on one at a time, saving and debt reduction, or building investment? Okay, it is possible to do three at once. I don't recommend it. Cut out building investment. If you have debt, you can focus at the same time on paying off debt and saving. Do both. Grow your savings while you pay off debt, but do not build investments unless you've paid off debt. With building investments, there is a way to lose it. And unless you are debt free, you shouldn't be putting money into investments. That's my personal opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing what works for me and what has worked for me for years. But I do believe that growing your savings while you're paying off debt is really important because you never know when you're going to be in case of an emergency, a worldwide emergency, who knows? But growing savings is really important, but so is paying off debt. And then once you've paid off debt, then you can build your investments. The workshop is recorded and available afterwards. You should get it via email when you registered for this workshop, right? We'll get
Yeah.
it tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Today was so much fun. I'm excited. And remember, March is in 2 days. It's a new month. You can do this. You can start a budget. You can make changes because we're going to follow up with you 1 year from today. I'm going to write it in my planner.
Yeah. Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you had fun and stay tuned. We have a March workshop as well and lots of exciting things coming. So hope you have success on your budgeting journey and make sure check back to the workshop tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Good
you,
night, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.